हरि ओम। ओम ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Bhagwan taught the path of Karma Yoga, and he said that Karma Yoga not only purifies our antakarana, but as your antakarana becomes pure, you develop that jidnyasa, a thirst to know yourself. You approach a teacher and learn from the teacher. Do shravanam and mananam. Through manam, we come to understand the real nature of our own self. The self is known. I know that I exist, but I don't know who am I. I don't know my exact nature. I don't know that I am Brahma. That knowledge I am Brahma is absent in my buddhi. Therefore, that is called avidya. And that avidya is abhava rupa. Avidya is an absence of right knowledge. It is not a presence. It is not a bhava vastu. It is abhava, absence. But that absence gives rise to a lot of misunderstanding. Just as in the world also, if we don't know the proper thing, then we start misunderstanding. So this misunderstanding itself is called adhyas, which is the cause for all our sorrow, which is the cause for bondage. So this avidya can be eliminated only when we gain proper knowledge of the self. So when we approach the teacher tells us that the self which you are experiencing as I, in the waking, in the dream, in the deep sleep, that I is Brahma. The teacher explains what is that Brahma, the cause of this world. The whole world exists. The whole world is pervaded by that Brahma alone. World is not different from Brahma. And that Brahma you are. So once we gain deep conviction that I am Brahma, then I have to drop all false notion and gain abidance in my own self. In the 49th verse, Bhagavan said that through sannyasa, means dropping all false notion, one can gain this abidance in the self, which is called Naishkarmya Siddhi. So Naishkarmya Siddhim Paramam Sannyasena Adhigacchati. So how exactly one can gain this Naishkarmya Siddhi? How can we gain that abidance in ourself? What are the steps in gaining that Jnana Nishtha? That Bhagavan says, I will tell you in the 50th verse. He says, hey Arjuna, you listen to the steps which are involved in gaining Jnana Nishtha. And then from verse number 51 onwards, Bhagavan gives a step-by-step way of gaining that Jnana Nishtha and becoming free. So in verse 51, 52, 53, 54 and 55, in these 5 verses, Bhagavan gives the complete technique, the complete procedure of acquiring that Jnana Nishtha and becoming free. So these 5 verses are very important and you have to understand them properly. So we have seen in the 51st verse, Bhagavan said that first we have to acquire that complete purity of our buddhi. Buddhi, as I said, is a knowing instrument. With the help of buddhi, we not only come to understand our own presence, but we also know the world. So when the buddhi becomes more and more pure, means we come to understand the differences very clearly. The aham vritti is different from the idam vritti. And this aham vritti belongs to that atma. Idam vritti belongs to this world. Aham vritti belongs to the atma. And that atma is Brahma. So that clarity of understanding when one gains, that happens, that itself is called a very pure buddhi, which has got no confusions, no delusions. Everything is clear. So buddhya vishuddhaya, with a supremely pure buddhi, one has to begin this journey within. And for that, Bhagavan says one should have total control over our body as well as our mind. Intellect means over our sthula sharir and sukshma sharir. See, we experience the sense of I in sthula sharir as well as in sukshma sharir. And because of this identification, we totally get lost in them. So one should have total control over the physical activities of the body as well as the movement of the mind, the intellect should be aware. They should be under our control. Also, there should not be any distraction from the world. So Bhagavan says, drop all attachment to the objects of this world, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So Shabdadin Vishayans Tektva. Because when we are focusing our attention on the self, then there need not be any distraction from these objects. And that happens when we drop the sense of likes and dislikes in them. When we neither like them nor dislike them, so we can just neglect them. We can shift our attention from them. We can move our awareness away from them. So to practice this nididhyasan, Bhagavan says that one has to also live alone. Solitude and other conditions help in nididhyasan. So he says, Vivikta Sevi. You live in a solitary place, away from all distractions. Need not, now in modern times, you need not go to some forest or something. But in our own home, if you have a separate living quarters or something like that, in the beginning, one can make use of that. Away from all interaction with the world, away from all worldly activities and all, one can just focus one's attention on one's own self. See, Aurobindo Yogi Aurobindo, he also secluded himself from the whole world. So much so that he used to just stay alone in his own room. Though he had many followers, many devotees, but he remained in his room, cut off from the whole world. And only once a year or something he will come out to give darshan and again remain totally in seclusion. Therefore, he could meditate, he could contemplate, also he could write such wonderful volumes like the Savitri and all. This is possible only in seclusion. not in crowded places, not with company, not with all distractions, not with all sorts of noise and holy happening around. So Vivikta Sevi Laghvashi. Also, to maintain our body, we require only a little bit of food. To enjoy, to gain pleasures, we require more food. But just to maintain the body, we require very minimum food. Also, when we are not involved in very heavy physical activities, we don't require much food also. So with minimum food, with total mastery over the body and the speech and even the mind, so yatavakaya manasaha, with all these conditions, it becomes helpful to meditate, to do this Nididhyasan. And what is Nididhyasan? Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam. Bhagavan calls it Dhyana Yoga, means constantly shifting our attention towards the self. Thinking about the self and shifting our attention toward the self. Thinking about the self is called dhyana, and shifting that attention towards the real self is called yoga. So dhyana yoga. Dhyanam atma swarupa chintanam, and yoga atma vishaya eva ekagrikaranam. So focusing, doing chintan of our that self, and then shifting our attention to the self. Chintan of the self make the image of the self very clear in our buddhi. It's like looking at our own face in the mirror. So dhyana is to look at our face in the mirror, and yoga is to shift our attention from the image to ourself. See, this is the most fascinating thing. Even if you look at the image, when we look at our own face in a mirror, we can see our face. Even here, when I am talking to you, I keep seeing my face on the mobile. So we can see our face, and we recognize that face because having seen it for so many times, we know that is me. So even if you see your photograph and all, you know, oh, that is my photograph, that is me. So when I look at that image in the mirror, I know that is me. But what is the difference? What is the difference between the face in the mirror and this face which is here? The face in the mirror we can see. We can see it objectively. But this actual face we can never see objectively. We can never see our face objectively. We can only see the image of our face. We don't see our face as it is. Though we cannot see our face, we can be our face. We cannot see our face, but we can be our own face. See, when we have the habit of recognizing our presence only by seeing our face, it becomes difficult to do this jump of just being our face. Similarly, we have this habit of knowing ourselves only through thoughts. Therefore, it is very easy for many people to think that they are the thoughts. They are the Sukshma Sharir. That is the general maximum misunderstanding in the world. Everyone thinks they are the Sukshma Sharir. Because only with the Sukshma Sharir we come to experience ourselves. When we give up this Sukshma Sharir and remain alone in Sushupti, we don't experience our own self. So people don't give much thought to it. They think that they are the Sukshma Sharir. So to drop this Sukshma Sharir in the waking means to shift our attention from the Sukshma Sharir to our own self as we are is the most difficult jump. All our sadhana is to achieve this jump, this paradigm shift. If we can achieve this paradigm shift, then we have achieved our goal. If we fail to achieve this, if we find it difficult, then we should go steps lower to do our sadhana. If it is difficult to achieve this jump, then we should try to make our chitta more shuddha. We should gain more clarity of our own self. We should do Shravan Manan. If that is also difficult, then we should do Upasana to make our mind clear. If that is also difficult, then we should follow the path of Karma Yoga. Dedicate our actions to Ishvara. If that is also difficult, then we should follow the path of Dharma and give up all Adharma. If that is also difficult, then Bhagwan will give us an animal body in the next life. Then we don't have to do anything. He will take care. So, this jump is what is required, and for that, Vairagya is one of the most important qualifications. So, Vairagyam samapashritaha. To drop, it requires Vairagya. See, for this, to hold this pen in our hand, pen has fallen down. To hold this pencil in our hand, we require effort. We require effort. But to leave that pencil, we have to give up all effort. Then the pencil automatically falls down. Similarly, to hold on to our body, our mind, our senses with attachment requires effort. And to drop them require absence of effort. But that absence of effort is most difficult. Effort becomes easy, but effortlessness becomes difficult. So Vairagya is to drop all our effort which we are doing to hold on to this body, mind, intellect and all those anatma it's called, wrong notions. So Vairagya helps me to drop. Vairagya helps me. Therefore, when we do this Upasana and all Karma Yoga and all in that we learn to drop, we learn to give up, we learn to offer. In Karma Yoga, we offer all our karmas and all things to Ishvara. Also in Yajna, Dana, Tapa, we offer. In Yajna, we offer to Ishvara. In Dana, we share with other beings in this world. In Tapas also, we give up, we drop all negativities within. Because our self is the nearest to us. What is preventing me from recognizing and realizing it is I am holding on to something other than the self. Means I am holding on to wrong notions, which I have to drop. that is attained very nicely if we have that vairagyam samapashritaha. So what are the things which we have to drop? If we drop them, we remain as we are. To be what we are, we don't have to do anything, because we are already that Brahma. But to give up what we are not, which we are holding on to, requires that effort, requires that practice. So that dropping is what is required. Then we gain that abidance in our own self. See, like that balloon which goes up in the air, in the sky, that hot air balloon. When there is lot of weight in that balloon, it doesn't rise up. So when they keep dropping the weight, which is keeping the balloon down, the more the weights are dropped, the more the balloon rises up. Or even that balloon which we release during the Republic Day parade and all, they release lot of balloons, because there is a gas in that balloon, and the balloon, when it is, they hold it. In the beginning they hold the balloon. It is not released in the beginning itself. But when the right time comes, after the parade is over, then all the balloons are released at the same time. And when they get released, naturally, spontaneously, the balloons rise higher and higher. Nothing is holding them back. And they rise so high up in the sky. And as they rise up, they start expanding also, because the air within the balloon wants to come out and become one with the air outside. It no longer wants to be confined in this little balloon. The balloon is like our sthul and sukshma sharir, which is holding on to this. The Atma is as though confined into this sthul and sukshma sharir. So as the balloon rises, it expands, and at a particular time, suddenly the balloon bursts and the air within and outside becomes one. Similarly, when all our false notions get dropped, we come to understand that the self in me, we come to experience the self in me is the self in all. That oneness is experience. One gains that aparoksha anubhuti, one gains that kaivalya avastha. So what are the things which we have to drop to attain this? That Bhagavan now tells in the next verse, verse number 53. Ahankaram balam dharpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuccha nirmama shantaha brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Bhagavan says that ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuccha nirmamaha shantaha become shanta. One who is able to do this, Bhagavan says, Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That seeker, that sadhak becomes fit to experience Brahma, to attain Brahma, to gain direct realization of Brahma. One who is able to drop all this will be able to attain that Brahma here and now. See, this realization is not something which we attain after death or we have to go to some other world. Vedanta says here and now. See, those who understand themselves as the Sukshma Sharir, they talk about going to some other loka or achieving something else. But Vedanta says you are that Brahma and you don't have to do anything for it. You are. But because of holding on to these wrong notions, you are not experiencing yourself as that Brahma. See, during this Holi also, people, they play with different colors. These little children, they go out and they play this Holi in different colors. And some of these colors are so strong that when that is applied on our body, it remains very strongly on the body. So after playing Holi for some time, when the boy comes home, the mother doesn't recognize him. He says, "Kaun hai ye? Chale jao." The child says, "मैं आपका बबलू." So mother recognizes the sound, voice, and then she knows that behind all these colors is my Bablu only. So she catches hold of him, takes him to the bathroom and gives him a nice shower and rubs all the color out of his body. And when he gets that nice bath, when all the color goes away, then she could recognize, "Arey, ye to hamara Bablu hi hai." Similarly, that Atma has got all these colors as though, which is due to avidya, all these misunderstandings. It is not actual color, but misunderstandings, which have to be dropped. Then the underneath, what am I? I am that Brahma only. So what are the things to be dropped? Bhagavan says, ahankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham, parigraham. Vimuchya. Vimuchya means drop them. See, this dropping happens when we have right understanding. Without that understanding, we can't drop. Because we think we are that, so how can we drop ourselves? We think I am that, so I cannot give up myself. But when I understand things clearly, then I can drop them. So one of the most strongest color which we have to drop is ahankar. You drop that ahankar, and here and now you can experience yourself as that Brahma. And what is this ahankar? Ahankar is a misunderstanding of the self. See, that is what I had mentioned. Aham vritti is there. So in that buddhi, so buddhi is like this water. So in this buddhi, because of the presence of the self, there is a natural vritti, spontaneous vritti. That is aham vritti. It's like the reflection of the sky in the mirror. So when the mirror is exposed to the sky, then naturally the reflection is there. Similarly, because of the presence of Atma, the reflection of that Atma in that buddhi comes in the form of aham vritti, मैं हूँ. But because of not knowing the self, because of this avidya, not knowing the self, this aham vritti, we think it belongs to the buddhi. And since buddhi is connected with our body, our mind, our senses, we think that aham vritti belongs to the body, to the senses, to the mind. Therefore, we have the sense of I in all of them. So when the body is functioning, I think I am functioning. When the senses are seeing, hearing, tasting, I feel I am seeing, hearing, tasting. So that wrong sense of I, thinking that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the body, this wrong concept of I is also a thought, is also vritti. This wrong vritti of our own self is what is called ahankar. Ahankaro dehendriyadishu, in deha, indriya, mana, buddhi, the notion that I am the one, they are myself. So misunderstanding. The ahankar is also vritti of misunderstanding. So this misunderstanding have to be dropped. It is not something which is physical, which we have to drop anything from the hand or something. This dropping of ahankar happens when we have clear-cut understanding of the tattva. When we understand clearly that this is aham vritti, this is idam vritti. So aham and idam need not be connected, need not be superimposed on each other. Aham vritti belongs to me, that Atma. Idam vritti belongs to the world. So the Atma, nature of the world is totally different. So one need not mistake one for the other. So mistaking Atma for Anatma and Anatma for Atma itself is what is called adhyas, which is this ahankar, misunderstanding. So one has to drop this ahankar, means drop the notion of I which one has got in the body, mind, senses. As I said, it is very strong. However much you might listen to pravachan, however much you might think, but when everything is over, when you just think of yourself, again you think of yourself as the body only. That I am the body, this notion is extremely strong. Though it gets dropped when we go to sleep, but when we are awake, it is very strong. See, I have the feeling that I am this body. Each and every limb, I think I am that. This notion is so strong that even when some limbs are missing, the notion continues to be there. There are cases where people lose their limbs, let us say in some accident or something. The person has lost his leg. But that leg had some problem and it is to hurt. But now it got, due to accident, it got cut. So the leg is not there. But the identification with the leg continues in that person's mind, even when the leg is not there. So even in the absence of the physical leg, he starts experiencing that hurt, that pain. In his big toe, let us say he has got severe pain. But the big toe is not there, the leg itself is missing. But he continues experiencing that pain in the big toe. So phantom pain, phantom limb pain, it is called. So our identification with our body is so strong, it doesn't leave very easily. Therefore, this practice of Nididhyasana is not easy, but achievable. So Bhagavan says that constantly practice dropping this sense of I in the body, the mind, the intellect, and identify with the real I. In that real I, there is no vritti of I. There is no vritti of I in Atma. But Atma is the real I. So drop that ahankar, which is the most difficult, but is achievable. So ahankaram, balam darpam. Then other things are all associated with this ahankar in different measures. One is bala. What is bala? See, is the strength. What type of strength? When we have kama and raga, when we have desires in our antakarana, when we have attachment, then it gives us a false energy. When the desire comes, we become active. A lazy person also becomes active, full of energy, when some desire comes in his mind. Let us say a lazy person just lying down, doing nothing. When he is told that, oh, that nice hot pizza has come, if you want to eat it, you have to get up. Otherwise, we will eat it. So though he is lazy, when that desire comes, oh, I have to eat, he gets some special energy within. He just jumps out of that bed. So desires gives that power, the strength, or sometimes attachment. When a person is attached to something or someone, he gets that special strength. So one has to drop this strength, which takes us our whole energy and effort in the world outside. That bala has to be dropped. Shankaracharya writes कि balam samarthyam kama ragadi yuktam, which is that bala which is endowed with kam and raga. Na itarat shariradi samarthyam. Not that we have to make the body weak. Body need not be made weak. Mind need not be made weak. But the raga and dvesha which is there, or kam and raga which is there, has to be dropped. Body doesn't become weak, but body doesn't become active also. The mind doesn't become weak, but the mind doesn't become active in running after objects of this world. So that bala which makes a person active in the world outside, perceiving his desires and all, that bala has to be dropped. So ahankaram, balam, then darpam. Darpa also has to be dropped. What is darpa? Darpa is a type of pride Darpa is also type of excitement. A person become bit over joyous, and in that state he neglects his duties or does something wrong. ज़्यादा एक्साइटमेंट में we do some adharma. That is the darpa. Shankaracharya ji writes, darpo nama harshanantara bhavi dharmatik atikrama hetuhu. Jada excitement in the world also. Person who is laughing, enjoying, he doesn't care for any rules, regulations and all. On the road also you will find those youngsters cracking jokes, laughing, in a party mood. They drive their motorcycle with full speed, don't care for anything. Holi ka mood, So that is called darpa. I don't care for rules and laws and all those things. And they get into trouble also. But that is darpa. So one has to drop this darpa also. See, when a seeker has evolved, and this darpa and all will not be there, but even if little traces of them are there in the antakarana, that has to be dropped. Then kamam, ichha, all desires, all other desires. No other desires. When one sits for nididhyasan, don't keep any other desire in the mind. Not of achieving anything in this world or other world, or doing anything or going anywhere. No desires. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Drop all engagements, drop all agenda, and that only want to be with yourself as you are. Be as you are. As Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi Ji says, just be as you are. Be still and know that you are God. So kamam, drop all kamana. Krodham, anger. Kama and anger go together. A lot of desires are there and they are obstructed. Then we get annoyed, we get irritated, we get angry. We become frustrated. But when we sit for this nididhyasan, drop all frustration, all kamna, all hatred, dislikes, repentance. Just empty yourself of everything. अपने आप को खाली कर दो. Empty yourself. See, even when we go to sleep, we have to empty ourselves. Then only we can go into deep sleep. But that we achieve without awareness. That is given, deep sleep is given to us by Ishvara. As a grace, as a blessings. Because if we don't get deep sleep, we will go mad in this world. So to give us some rest, Ishvara gives us deep sleep. But if we pursue our sadhana properly, with Ishvara's blessings, we can gain this Jnana Nishtha. We can drop all this extra luggage which we are carrying with us in so many lifetimes. All this can be dropped. Krodham. This is Nididhyasan. Though it might appear to be activity of the buddhi, it is not an activity of the buddhi. We have to achieve transcendence. From the reflection come to the one who is reflected. So क्रोध को भी छोड़ दो. Then parigraham. Parigraham means what? All the things which we accumulate around us. Indriya manogata dosha parityage api sharira dharana prasangena dharmanusthana nimittena va bahyah parigrahah praptah tam cha vimucya parityajya. To maintain our body, to maintain our livelihood, we accumulate lot of things around. बहुत सारा लगेज हमारे साथ होता है. Lot of things we accumulate around us. And unconsciously, unknowingly, those things hold us back. People don't want to die and go away also because they feel, if I die, what will happen to my property? What will happen to all the money which I have kept in the bank? What will happen to all the furnitures which I have collected? What will happen to all the little things which I have collected from all my travels? तो उस पे उनका ध्यान रहता है. So, a sincere seeker should drop all this accumulation, means have minimum things with him. The sannyasis traditionally used to just carry a kamandalu with them and just go. That kamandalu to have water and to have food and one pair of clothes or just a cowpin. कुछ नहीं. Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, when he came to Tiruvannamalai, he left his home carrying 5 rupees which he borrowed from his brother, and he from his home he arrived at Tiruvannamalai. On the way he had some kundala which he gave it to someone, got some money so that he can travel by the train. And once he reached Tiruvannamalai, whatever remaining money and whatever was there, he just dropped them in the tank in front of the temple, Shiva's temple. Took bath in that tank and just approached Lord Shiva and said, I have come. Oh my dear father, I have come to you. Now I don't require money and all because I have already come to you. So he remained there, perceiving this path and gaining that abidance in his own supreme self. So parigraham, see, everything we have to leave. The whole rule of this world is we can't take anything with us. Though as I said yesterday or day before yesterday, there are some people who say that you deposit some money with our organization and we will keep track of you even after your death, and wherever you are born, we will bring that money and give it to you back. We can contact you. We have the technique. So wherever you are born, our person will come there, give your money back to you and take your signature also. But this is not possible. When we leave this world, everything we have to drop. We have to drop our body. We can take our Sukshma Sharir with us, but we can't take anything else. Hmm. So what happens naturally when we go to sleep or when we die? One has to do it while awake, conscious. Drop the identification, drop all this extra luggage, and drop the identification with the body, mind, senses, and be with yourself. We are not losing anything, we are gaining infinity. Many people are afraid, अरे इसको छोड़ देंगे तुम क्या होगा? I will lose. You will not lose. You will gain infinity. You drop little and you gain infinity. If you hold on to this little, you lose that infinity. So parigraham vimuccha, having dropped them. Nirmamaha, become nirmamaha. Nirmama means devoid of the notion of something belonging to me. ये मेरा है, मेरा है, मेरा है. Not only drop the notion of possessiveness in the objects of this world, but also towards our body, mind, senses. Don't keep that notion that this is my body. These are my senses, my mind, my intellect, my ahankar. That notion of my is false, is wrong. Because that Atma is like space. There is no my, I in it. Like we had given that example, this pot is like the body, gross body. And that Sukshma Sharir is like a little potli in this gross body. But that space within this pot is like Atma. The Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupta Atma. But the space all over is Brahma or Turiya Atma. The space around is also called Turiya Atma, the fourth. The three Atmas are experienced here, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. But Brahma is the fourth Atma, Turiya Atma. So the space which is outside and space within is same. But because of this total identification with the gross body and the subtle body, the space is not recognized. So through various our sadhana, first we have to recognize the space within and understand the space within and the space without is one only. Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. And gain that abidance in that Brahma. So Bhagavan says, Nirmamaha, become free of mamatva. So when all these things are dropped, ahankar, balam, darpam, kamam, krodham, parigraham and mamatva, what will be our experience? The person will experience supreme peace, shantaha. All the disturbance of the samsara will not be there. Because we are disturbed by the samsara only when we contact the world through our Sukshma Sharir, by identifying with the Sukshma Sharir. So when all these things are dropped, total quietude is there. That shantaha, that prasannata, that inner joy and peace. Bhagavan says you keep practicing this and keep getting that peace, that shantaha. And what will happen? Bhagavan says through this practice, this is the practice of dropping, this is the practice of Nididhyasan. Bhagavan says then you will become fit to experience Brahma. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate means Brahma bhavanaya kalpate, samartho bhavati. One becomes fit to experience Brahma, to be Brahma, to realize Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the practice of Nididhyasan, of dropping our identification and being our own self. Just be ourself. More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. 2 more verses are there where Bhagwan explains this Nididhyasan further till one attains that complete realization. Bhagwan explains. So as I said, in these 5 verses, verse number 51, 52, 53, 54 and 55, Bhagwan gives the complete picture of Nididhyasan. So we will see it in our class tomorrow. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work and do your sadhana. Listen to this pravachan again, contemplate, think, understand. It's the most beautiful and there is no other thing which you have to know. Don't think that, oh, okay, Bhagavad Gita is saying this, we will study some other text which will tell us something else. No. What Bhagavad Gita is saying is the very essence of the teaching of our Vedas, our Upanishads, the Puranas, the Itihas. So we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Boliye Siyam Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.